Hi, my name is Nicole. Welcome to Listen to the Stars. So welcome again to my channel. Today I'm gonna break things up. I've been doing a lot of interviews and today I just want to talk about a personal story. So I'm gonna tell you about my personal experience at a Vipassana silent retreat. This is a meditation retreat. Some of you might have heard of these meditation retreats as Vipassana meditation retreats. Other people might have heard of them as silent retreats or silence retreats. Basically, these are 10-day programs where you basically are just there to be in complete silence, eat amazing vegan food, and just meditate. You can't interact with anyone, you can't even look people in the eye, you just have to meditate. I'm gonna try to share as much as I can in a short video, and if you guys are still interested, if you want to hear more, then I'm definitely open to doing a longer video because I tried shooting this video last week and it ended up being like 45 minutes long and that was just too long for me, so here we are. So basically I decided to do this silence retreat after I went to Montreal and I was hanging out with my friend Brad, and he told me about one that he went on and that his friends had done, and he thought that because of my spiritual work, my meditation work, and all of that I would really benefit from it. But I've had a lot of experience with meditation, so he was like, you should really try this meditation retreat. It will be 100 hours for you to just really get into it. And other friends of mine kind of were pushing me towards it because I had been going through a lot in my life, a very stressful time living in New York. So they were like, you know what, you should take a break, you should do this. So I just applied. I had to apply 4 or 5 months in advance because there's a wait list. I went to a place in Massachusetts. It's really amazing. I don't remember the name of it. I had written it down, but I'll try to post all of that information below. So I applied to it and finally I heard back and they said, you're confirmed, and I was ready to go. And even right before I was supposed to go, I kind of got scared and I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. But I talked to my friend Alan, and he was like on Skype with me, like coaching me, saying, Nicole, you need to do this. Like, you need this silence, you need this space more than anything. You have to go, you have to finish packing your bags and get on that train and go, because it doesn't seem that scary, but when you're like 45 minutes away from the experience of not having your laptop, not having your cell phone, not being able to speak with anyone for 10 days, after living a high-paced lifestyle like New York, it is so scary. It really just hit me all at once. And also I had to like take a train, I had to stay with like a roommate that I had never met. It was like kind of weird to me. But I did it, and I went there and it was really cool. So we kind of got to talk to each other and meet each other when we first got there. Men and women were segregated, so men stayed on one side of the complex and women stayed on another. Older students, meaning students that had already gone through one silent retreat, were able to have their own rooms and have more privacy. And then new students like myself had to share rooms. So I had this really amazing roommate from China. She was a foreign exchange student, I believe. And we got to share a room, which was really cool. It was really pretty, with a huge window that was facing the woods. So when I would sleep at night, I would just look up at the stars through my window, and it was so beautiful and so nice. So yeah, we couldn't talk after the first day. We couldn't read. You can't paint, you can't do anything. You literally are in your own head. You can eat, you have to eat in silence. You can't make eye contact with people or laugh or anything like that. You eat a nice big breakfast, a nice big lunch, and then dinner is like fruit and tea. It's not really a dinner. So there's kind of a little bit of fasting at night. And you wake up around 4:30, I think, in the morning to the sound of a gong, which I really liked, and I was so annoyed at first because my roommate had an alarm clock and I wanted to be woken up by this beautiful gong sound, and literally like 2 minutes before the gong sound, like a real gong that someone would play would sound, her alarm clock would just start screaming. And when you've been in silence for days on end, an alarm clock is the last thing that you want to hear. It was so terrible. So you would, anyways, you would wake up and I would just grab, and I'm actually gonna go grab it right now. I would just grab this blanket of mine. It's a Kantha quilt. It's so nice and soft. It has a really cool pattern on it. And then the reverse side looks like this. So I would just grab this kantha quilt and I would just wrap it around me. Well, first I would get ready, like I'd brush my teeth and everything, and then I would wrap this around me and then just go walk to the meditation hall and sit down. And normally people don't need like cushions and everything to meditate, maybe just one cushion to sit on, but I was having kind of a hard physical time with the meditation, so I actually had like a little bit of a back support and everything, so I could actually make all the meditations. Because even though you can meditate for 100 hours during this time, a lot of people don't. They'll just stay in their room, they'll nap, they'll go on walks because it's too intense. But me and a few other girls and some older students all were like pretty intense about just being there. So I had some extra back support and everything, so I'd sit down and just get into my meditations in the morning. And this was my favorite thing. Every time I put this kantha quilt on, I feel like I'm ready to meditate, and I would sleep with it. I would meditate with this side, and then at night I would sleep with it on this side facing out. So it was pretty versatile. And yeah, so you have to pack all of your own kinds of like pillows, bedding, stuff like that. You have to bring like a flashlight, so packing is pretty light. You have to dress modestly, so I just pretty much wear yoga pants and like sweatshirts and sweaters the whole time. I didn't wear makeup or anything like that. And I will put the website so you can see like what you can bring and what you can't bring. You can't bring a journal or anything, so you can't write, you can't, like I said, you can't draw, you can't do anything like mentally active the whole time. You can't even do yoga or exercise. So you'd meditate in the morning, then right after you'd go and eat breakfast. And breakfast was vegan, and I think there was coffee, but for the most part I was trying to stay away from anything like that. I was actually giving up coffee and caffeine at the time, so it was kind of hard for me. The first 2 days I felt super tired. I was falling asleep in meditation. And then after breakfast, you get to go have time to like walk around in nature if you want to, or spend time alone in your room. And I went in November, so it was kind of cold, but I would just bundle up and I would do like the whole walking circuit through the woods and through the yard. And it was really, after a few days, it was just so beautiful. I felt so connected with nature. There was actually one time where I was staring at a snowbank after it had snowed, and just gazing at the snow, and it was like little flecks of glitter lifted up and started like dancing around like I was hallucinating, and they just kept doing this like dance in this mirage sort of way, and I just was like completely stunned. It was so beautiful. It was like the interaction between the sun and the snow had just come alive, and it's something I'll never forget. And I think that we all have access to that intense experience with nature always, but we just have to be quiet enough and focused enough, like centered enough in ourselves to be able to experience that, and also to like be peaceful enough. So then after you take a break, then you do a group sit, and usually there's like some, you're learning something, you're learning a new technique or something like that. So you do the group sit, and then you do a group meditation, and then and this is all in this grand hall where men sit on one side and women sit on the other side, and it's always very dark in there with like little lights on the ceilings that are really cool and dim. And then after that there's lunch, and then after lunch I think you get another break, and then there's like a longer group sit. I hope this is making sense. And then you get some like more alone time to just do what you need to do, or to meet with the teacher. And then you have dinner, which is that light dinner I told you about, and then you do more meditation, and then you go to sleep. So the meditations, like in the morning, that was my favorite time to meditate, because there was no discourse, there was no lecture. It was just me grabbing my kantha quilt, wrapping up in it, and just getting right into the discipline of meditating. And then the other ones where I was learning stuff, they just kind of were more distracting, but it was good because I learned the technique and everything, but I didn't feel like I could get as deeply into the meditation practice. And yeah, so the first 2 days you're just focusing on your breath going in and out. It's really boring. You feel like, there has to be more to it than this. Then you actually learn the Vipassana technique, which is a lot more exciting. And then you're just doing the Vipassana technique the rest of the time. So the first few days were the most excruciating, I have to say. But after that, like, I felt like I could stay there for the rest of my life and just meditate my life away, because I love meditating. I love solitude. I love peace and quiet more than anything in the entire world. I'm the neighbor that's calling and complaining about my neighbors all the time because I just love peace and quiet. Like, that's how much I care about it. So I was in heaven. I was so happy. And before the retreat, my hair had been falling out, which I know you're watching my videos thinking that my hair is always falling out, but it's just like my stress response. And I'm probably talking about the same period of my life. And then during the retreat, I was like eating healthy vegan food. I was getting enough sleep. I was resting, and my hair stopped falling. I felt better. I looked better afterwards. It was just the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I had really intense meditation experiences. Like, on one of the last 2 days, we were allowed to meditate in these little cells in this beautiful building that was just constructed for meditation. And it was like, or meditation, I said that weird. And it was kind of like built in a spiral or something. So all these little cells kind of spiraled into this one main chamber. It was really, really a cool building. And I just got my little cell. I grabbed my Kantha quilt and a pillow, or meditation pillow, and I just sat down there and meditated for 2 hours. And I had the most intense meditation experience of my life. And I know that people aren't really supposed to talk too openly about what they experience in meditation, but I'm willing to share just to see if you've had a similar experience. But I was really focusing on my breath, and then I moved my focus to my third eye because it just naturally went there. And all of a sudden my breath became very silky and smooth, and that is something that started to happen during this meditation retreat, is that the breath would start to feel like beautifully, perfectly spun silk. There's no other thing I can think to compare it to, and it would just, when it went in and when it flowed out, it just felt amazing. Like, you would just want to focus on it because it was so beautiful and light and perfect. And so I started to kind of knead the breath with my intention and my mind, just started to work with it. I don't know how I learned these techniques. And I started to really spin this breath into a very tiny, tiny thread. And then I started to see this black point of concentration, concentrated energy in my field of insight, or like inner vision. And I took that thread and I made it as small as I possibly could and as sharp as I possibly could. And then I started to take that point of the thread and just pierce it into this like energy that I could see. And it was the most profound meditation experience I've ever had in my life. And after that point, I was able to focus on different points of focus at the same time. Like, I had 4 different points of focus, and then I multiplied that to 8, then to 16, where I was fully aware on these different points of focus at the same time. So it was crazy. And I felt just elevated. I felt amazing. There are way more stories like that of different sensations that I felt, and you're not supposed to be attached to these sensations, which I'm not, but I just think it's cool to share some experiences, and yours is going to be completely different. But yeah. So then afterwards, I drove back with some of the girls that were there to New York, so I didn't take the train. And I just felt different. I really felt like high on life, high on meditation. I felt bubbly, I felt joyful. Like, that was one of the first times in my life that I really felt like joy. And like, you know, people say the word joy and you just think, okay, happiness, but joy is something completely different, and it's so beautiful and it's so amazing. So I just felt joyful, and then I had to take the train from Manhattan to where I lived in Brooklyn, and I felt so happy, and I still felt that silky breath, and it didn't leave me for 3 days. So I was just riding on the train with my beautiful silky breath, and people just like looked at me and they were drawn to me, and people were smiling at me. Babies would smile at me, and people would randomly come up to me and just say, hey, hi. Like, they were trying to like think of a compliment, but they couldn't. So they would just say like, how are you? And then I would just say, good, how are you? Like, you know, and I would just try to engage them because I didn't know what to do. So people were incredibly drawn to me for like 48 hours. And my breath stayed for a long time, and using technology felt kind of gross. And I was having a lot of problems with my roommates before I left, and when I got back, I just felt so amazing and happy that all my grudges were gone. Everything seemed perfect. Every problem, all the dirty dishes in the sink just seemed like the right thing to be there. I just felt so happy, and it changed my life completely. So after I got back, before I left, I guess I should say, is I was really obsessed with finishing this album that I was working on with music. I was so egotistically attached to it and the outcome. Like, I just wanted to put it out, and I wanted to be some massive success and just be able to tour the world and be this like famous music person. And I felt like I was putting that kind of intention into it. And when I got back, I just realized that working on it and thinking about it that way was causing me so much pain. And so I took a break from music, I took a break from relationships after this Vipassana retreat. I did start dating people again, but then after that period, I completely went into hermit mode and was single and just working on spirituality for like 9 months or so. I quit hanging out with certain people. I pretty much quit partying and going out and focusing on like the music scene. And I decided to move again. I made huge changes in my life that were for my best benefit and for my health. And it completely changed me. Like, I can't stress that enough, that this experience completely changed me. And I really want to do it again, but apparently, like, if you want to use Reiki or any kind of stuff like that, astrology, as an old student, you have to give those things up, because Vipassana is about removing attachments. So wanting to know your future, wanting to impart healing on someone, that's like trying to push, I don't know, it's like they say that it's like having an attachment or something, and it's the opposite of Vipassana. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't think I'll be able to go on another Vipassana retreat, but I do want to have my own silent retreat probably sometime this summer, where I do the same thing for 100 hours of intense meditation and get all the benefits. So if you are considering doing a Vipassana meditation retreat, and it's not against any kind of belief system you have or other kind of meditation practice that you have, I will tell you again, it completely changed my life. It changed me. It took my meditation practice to this insane level that I never knew was possible. I sat down to do Vipassana last night, and I haven't been meditating as much lately because I've been so busy, but I just popped right back in. I felt that exact same sensation. So it's something that you learn and you just have the rest of your life. I also met amazing people, because afterwards I was able to talk to people and share our experience with each other. And there are incredible people that are drawn to Vipassana. It taught me healthier habits. It got me on a really good schedule. Not that I was able to keep it up, but it really taught me a good rhythm to wake up in the morning and to meditate and to eat really healthy vegan food and to go to sleep early. So it can reset you in that way. And it taught me the areas that I was so attached to. And before Vipassana, I had been hanging on to an entire lifetime of baggage, bad relationships, anger, anger at my parents, anger at my family, just crazy stuff that was completely blocking me and my happiness. And in 10 days, I let the majority of that go. And so now when I'm like trying to clear things in my life, I am pretty much just clearing recent things, and maybe past life stuff, I don't know. But it really burns away a lot of garbage in your life and a lot of your own destructive thinking, and it's extremely powerful. And the effects of it might not be felt immediately. They were felt immediately for me, but I see them paying off always. Like, even now, I think back and I can just say that Vipassana was responsible for so much change in my life. And now, secondarily, astrology. I'm going to say that I'm going to leave all the links below. It may or may not be for you. Vipassana may or may not be for you, but regardless, I recommend everyone developing a meditation practice, and if you can, do a silent retreat of some kind for 3 to 10 days. You really should. If you can even just have a retreat by yourself for 3 to 10 days, you should. Before Vipassana, I used to do my own silent retreats every single year, and sometimes every single season. I would go to my cabin up north and I would do these kinds of retreats, and they've always benefited me. And while I would do the meditation and yoga and stuff at these retreats, I would also practice really healthy eating, cutting out sugar, caffeine, chocolate, all of that, and getting enough rest. And it's been one of my go-to wellness tricks, so I highly recommend it. So that was a little story. If you want to know more details, I think I covered a lot, but if I missed anything, just ask me some questions below and I'm happy to make a part 2 to this. Otherwise, happy meditating, and I will be back with some more amazing astrology videos, tarot card videos, and healing videos, including interviews with some amazing people in all of these fields. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, because that helps me to get the message out to more people and to connect people that might not already be connected. And you can click on the bell if you want to be the first person to hear about the videos. And if you want to book an appointment with me to speak about your meditation journey or to look at any area of your life, then just go to my website, NicoleBrenny.com, or I'll leave a link to book an appointment with me below. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.